This is Armageddon TV.
What's up? This is Mikey Jukes coming at you one more time for your mind, and I got a story to tell today. So around 2013, I came to a point where I wanted to use my talents for the kingdom of heaven, and so I was looking for an opportunity to work for God. So I just kind of was searching around for opportunities. I found a Christian TV station that was only available on Roku. And so I partnered with this TV station. And the cool part was they already had a musical competition going on. There was another guy named Steve who worked there, and he was running a musical competition, and it was going well. But I got hired in. I accepted the lowest amount that they offered me because I didn't care about money. I wanted to just really create an opportunity. So I saw an opportunity. I saw this musical competition, and I had worked with the record labels in the past before. Def Jam, Interscope, Universal, playing music videos and stuff like that, rap a lot, and other ones too. And so I was like, well, let me try to use this as leverage to try to, get something going at this Christian TV station. So what I did was I started calling the labels and stuff and trying to see if I could get an A&R to come to the next event that they were going to do, the next competition. And so I was calling, and I finally got in contact with Motown Gospel. I actually went to a voicemail. I left a voicemail, and someone called me back. So it was a guy named Cameron, and he had called me back. He was like he worked in like a digital marketing department, which was working in conjunction with the A&R department. And so I asked him, could they send someone out to the next event? And he said, yeah. So he said that he would check into it. He talked to the A&R department or whoever else, and they sent him. So the next event came around. So we made the flyers. We said Motown Gospel was going to be there. We went through some stuff about using the logo and all that. And so we finally settled it down. We had a flyer. We had the event. And then when the event kicked off, it was a huge success. A lot of good Christian folks came out. And also there was this young kid who came out who played the guitar and sang, kind of reminded me of the sound of Wyclef, Lil Bob Marley maybe, and his name was Royce Lovett. And so he came. That's the first time I had ever, heard of him. And everybody liked him. The A&R liked him. But when they went back to Nashville, they weren't ready to pull the trigger. So I was calling Cameron, trying to work with him to see what could we do to get this kid a deal, and they wanted to just like maybe work with him on just kind of maybe a one single basis. And so I was like, well, could we do like because I had read up on development deals, could we do like a development deal with him, and we can get him where you need him to be, because that you can see he has talent. And so I guess they went back to the table and they came back and said, yeah. And so I had signed up with Royce as his manager. I was coordinating the whole situation, coordinated the meeting. He went to Nashville. He got the record deal. He came back. And I'm like, well, great. This is going to be great. We're going to, take off and do some huge things. And that's when things started changing. As you can clearly see here, Royce Lovett's name is on the contract. His lawyer's name is on the contract, and my name is on the contract. It was signed with Capital Christian Music Group, which is the owner of Motown Gospel. And that's the real deal. It don't get no realer than this. This here is a real cover sheet on a recording contract. And to make matters worse, they wouldn't take none of my advice that I gave them about him. I said he needs voice lessons. They just blew me off. I mean, he was a great artist and a great musician, but he needed voice lessons because he had, very few sounds. They just blew it off. They kind of just, kept him around for about a year, not doing nothing. And then finally, I'm putting the pressure on them. And finally, they decided to go ahead and put out a project. But before they put the project out, uh, my son died. It was right at that time where my son died. So I am basically at this time losing my mind, So I'm trying to hang in there. I'm trying to work with it. Um, it was a bad time. It was a bad time. So I'm not saying that I could have been the best manager for him moving forward at that moment. But what I wanted was my credit. And what happened was they removed my name from everything. I was the glue. I put the whole thing together. I put together Motown Gospel being there. I put together them signing him because they was not going to sign him. I convinced them to sign him on a development deal, which I don't know whether they actually did it as a development deal or not, but that was the conversation. And I talked them into signing him. And they dropped me. They basically took me out of his bio. He got a new manager, and he was on BET, he was in Jet Magazine, he put out his bio and all of this stuff. My name was nowhere. So here I am, the guy who was the glue, put the whole thing together, and they left me out in the dirt. All I wanted was credit. I didn't want money, and I wanted, some credit so that I could use that. I was going to start a whole company getting gospel artists signed to gospel labels because I have an eye for talent. And all of that it went to nothing. So, that's my story. I have evidence. I got proof. I gave my heart and my soul to that situation, just trying to really make it happen for him. But what I realized in retrospect was God don't bless no mess. You know, there was something wrong with that label, and there's something wrong with that industry. The way the label handled me, they let me know that it was just all about secular business. They were not Christian business people. You know what I'm saying? And they did me dirty, and I feel like he did me dirty too. To be honest, I was at one of my lowest points right there because my son died right before his project was dropping. And my son didn't just die, he was brutally murdered as a victim of gun violence. So, I needed a couple of months to kind of, process the situation. Instead, they just got rid of me and removed my name from everything. So, it's all good though. I thought I could do something for the kingdom through that opportunity, but maybe there's another opportunity. Maybe God can use me in another way. I have talents, I have skills. I want to use them for the kingdom and not for, the world. So let's see how that turns out. Once again, this is Mikey Jukes with Armageddon TV, just giving you some information about my history and who I am, the real deal, and I got evidence. I keep receipts.